everyone, welcome back here to my home studio. I am Karen with Walsh of Karen's Pots and Glass, and today's video I have is on chattering, which is a purposeful bounce of the trim tool when trimming, and it creates some really beautiful marks that when you use it with a good texture showing glaze, it really helps to enhance the surface. So the reason that I'm doing this is because I was sent a lovely tool that is from a gentleman out of Manitoba, Canada, and his company is Artisan Pottery Tools, and I will put the contact information below in the video description. But he makes a variety of chattering tools, and they all have a little bit of give, a little bit of spring to them, and he has machined them nicely so they will work well when held at a particular angle. And one thing that I do like to make sure is I try to make sure that I don't have any buildup of clay on the edge of that tool before I start doing the trimming. This is one that I did off the video. I just did it a couple minutes ago, but it does add just a really fun surface, and you can use it selectively, of course, in areas too for maybe greater visual interest. So you have, very specific areas that you're going to chatter. So this is a trimmed bowl, and it is on the dry side of leather hard. I find that when they're just a little bit drier than leather hard, they work really well. This is my Giffin Grip Mini. I have used it in a couple of other videos before, but the cool thing about this is you just kind of play around with feeling the right angle at which you can feel the vibration. So the vibration starts, and as you pull it down, you're going to get a little texture. See if you can see that. Let me pull this in a little bit. You can just barely see this texture that's starting. Now, you can control the texture by the amount of pressure and the speed. So here I'm pushing a little bit harder, and I'm also going a little bit faster. And now this is a little bit more evident. It's a little bit easier to see. And you can go back over it if you want to play it up and get it a little bit more significant. Now let's say I want to maybe make an empty spot right there. I'll leave an untextured area that's not chattered. Okay, and then maybe down here I'll put a different one. So I'm using the opposite side of the tool. So chattering is really quite fun, and you can really experiment with the position that you hold the tool. So here you can see I've got, now you can see that the direction changed because I held the tool the opposite direction. Instead of, holding it like this, I turned it over and held it like this. So that's when I get a slightly different angle. So it's a fun thing to experiment with. Now, if you have ever attempted to trim something with, say, a regular trim tool, and you have accidentally chattered, and you haven't meant to, you wanted to have a nice smooth surface, well, what you can do is, if you have a reversing wheel, is just reverse the direction of your wheel, trim on the opposite side until you get rid of the chatter, and that will make it go away. But in the case of this, I'm very purposeful in attempting to put it on. So let's say here I'm just going to use the tip. Oh, now it's not really doing anything. It could be a little bit dry or a little bit wetter right there. Sometimes if it's a little wetter, it doesn't really work. So here we go. I went down a little lower. Here I'm just going to do the reverse. kind of a cool noise, I think. And then I'm going to just come in here and put like a nice little smooth area there where it's not chattered. And then maybe on the bottom, I'll try on the bottom. This is wetter, it might be more difficult to get it to start. There we go. Now really, with chattering, you're taking off a very minimal amount, so it's truly just more of a surface decoration. It's not trimming off a significant amount like when I initially trimmed the foot on it. So it's pretty shallow. If you have a really thin wall, say if you're doing porcelain, you might even be able to kind of see through it a little bit. But there we go. That's chattering. And again, I will link the tool in the video description, and I'll link the Artisan Pottery Tools website. They are really cool. So he also sent me a great handle pulling tool, which I will show on another day, which it was really fun. But this was chattering with the Artisan tool. Hope you enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a little bit of texture to add and make your pieces a little bit more zippy.